Hey everybody, welcome to our Talking Wellness with Wellness 360 and Webster Rec. We have a really special treat for you, but I'm going to hand it over to Jay. I'm Beth from Wellness 360, and I'm going to hand it over to Jay to introduce our special guest.
Well, thank you. Good to see everybody after a few-week hiatus. Today we have a really cool guest for you, someone that I've had the pleasure of working with several times with our employee wellness program here at the town of Webster. Dr. Katie Ann from Corrective Chiropractic. She's right here in Webster. So we're going to just start off and kind of ask you, Dr. Katie, if you can give us a little background and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure, absolutely. Checking for that yellow box.
You're good. You're in.
Okay, good. Well, I am a Webster native. I went to R.L. Thomas for high school, and I love Rochester, so I stayed local and decided to set up practice here in Rochester. So I'm very family-oriented. I love everything that's available out here, all the Finger Lakes and the different hiking opportunities. So I love where I'm at, and I love the people here. Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm just excited to know that you're around. I have to be honest, this is one of the first time that I've ever used a chiropractor myself. So I've worked in the physical therapy, the massage therapy field. I've had acupuncture. I've had all of the complementary therapies. And I just recently went to my first chiropractor, and I have to say I'm in love. So I was so excited that we were going to be talking with you today to hear a little bit more about it. I refer to chiropractors all the time, and you're right down the street, which is really awesome. So I'm really happy to meet you. But I'm curious, what motivated you to become a chiropractor?
Well, as I said, I stayed fairly local. I went to St. John Fisher, and I was studying chemistry at the time, thinking that I would have an exciting job at the U of R doing, lab work and things like that. But since high school, I had suffered from headaches, migraine headaches, and they became so frequent. I experienced them every single day. So by the time I was a junior at Fisher, it was a daily occurrence. I was starting to think that I just had to live with these migraines. With the help of my mother at the time, I went to the eye doctor to see maybe it's my eyes causing the trouble. I went to the gynecologist thinking maybe it's hormonal. I went to my primary, and they said, get plenty of sleep. Don't be stressed and drink water. And I was like, okay, thank you. As a chemistry student, I really don't have time for sleep and tons of stress in my life. So after exhausting all those options, I really didn't know what else was available to me. I had no idea that chiropractic even existed until my mother came across. She works at the University of Rochester and came across my mentor and my chiropractor at a health fair who said, oh, we can definitely help your daughter, come on in. So I went in, I looked this lady up and down, and I was like, who's this lady? What's chiropractic? Kind of negative. I thought that, again, I was going to have to suffer with these migraines for the rest of my life, and it changed my life. So I went from having these daily migraines to I went a couple days without a headache, and then I went a couple weeks without a headache, until it's to the point now I can't really even recall the severity of pain that they used to cause me. So it eventually clicked with my brain that this is what I should be doing, again, from the encouragement of my mentor. And here I am in practice, and I absolutely love what I do. It brings me such joy. It is an adventure every day because everybody is different. Your nervous system is different, adjustments are different, so there's no two people or days alike. So I love what I do. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. And one of the things that when I first met you, Dr. Katie, and we started doing some things here with our wellness program, one of the things that really impressed me the most is how you incorporated a lot of different aspects of wellness into your practice. So that kind of leads me to our next question. How would you best describe your professional philosophy? So maybe another way to put it would be how you incorporate different aspects of wellness into your practice.
Yes. That's an excellent question. So I, as your chiropractor, don't just focus on your sciatic pain or whatever ache is bringing you in. I look at each individual as a whole from head to toe. So if somebody's coming in with headaches, I'm not only going to look at their neck and concentrate on that aspect, but I'm going to look at their middle back, their lower back. I'm going to ask them questions about stress, about nutrition. I'm going to focus on their daily activities. How are they spending most of their time? Are they on their feet doing manual labor? Are they at a computer desk kind of hunched over their laptop? All of those things factor into who that person is and as an individual, and also what might be creating the problem that they have. So I definitely place an emphasis on looking at the individual as a whole. And the biggest thing that I have in my practice is patient education. I want people to come in, maybe having an idea of what's going on with their body, but in the end, they become very in tune with what their body's capable of. And most of the time, what brings people into the office is that extreme scenario, whether it's sciatic pain or something where they're almost crawling up the stairs to come in. But the more you get adjusted or the more you are in tune with yourself, then you pick on much more, or you pick up on much more subtle hints, digestive issues, maybe difficulty sleeping, maybe you don't have full-on pain, but you can just feel a sensitivity in an area that, you know, okay, it's time for me to go get adjusted. It's time to go for a massage. I need to stretch more. I'm not staying hydrated. So all of those things factor in, but patient education and looking at the individual as a whole are my priorities. Absolutely.
That is so awesome, Katie. I love to hear those stories. I tell my patients the exact same thing. I actually teach mindfulness classes, and I tell them the number one thing for the mindfulness class is awareness. You have to be aware of your body. You have to understand what your subtle hints are. And I have to admit, with the chiropractic situation, I had no reason to not go. I practice yoga all the time. There's so many different things that I do for health. And I thought, you know what? I want to start incorporating it because I just feel like my body needs it. And I cannot get over how amazing I feel since I incorporated chiropractic into my world. I'm shouting it from the rooftops to everyone I know. I didn't realize how much better I could possibly feel, to be honest with you. So I'm 100% on board with the services that you provide, and I'm really excited to hear more. And this is, unfortunately, our talk has been postponed a couple times because of things that have happened, and I've been looking so forward to this talk because Katie had picked out a topic about chiropractic and the nervous system. And I am so excited to learn more because, as Jay and I do constantly with book reading and talking and educating, we're always yearning for more information. And I can't wait to hear how your idea of the relationship between the nervous system and the chiropractic practice. So I'm going to just kind of give you the floor to kind of talk a little bit about that. Jay and I might shoot some questions at you, but we're looking really forward to that.
Perfect, thank you. And I apologize for that phone call. I thought I muted that. Well, absolutely. As a chiropractor, it's the nervous system that is our main focus. So you have all sorts of systems in your body, from the circulatory system, your blood pumping through your body, your heart pumping, to digestive. Every single system in your body is controlled by one computer, and that is your nervous system. So that's your brain, your spinal cord. Every single nerve in your body is supplying all of your cells, your muscles, all your tissues and organs. So if you can imagine, if there is a mixed message or if there's a lack of message, then we're going to have issues or a symptom. So that's why the nervous system is number one. That is what we need to pay attention to. So not only does it communicate and control a lot of the systems, it is very intricately connected to each, including the immune system. So if you have a fully functioning and happy, healthy nervous system, you should be nice and strong, that you can handle anything coming your way, whether at work or out in the world. So it is essential to keep everything happy and healthy. And things or issues with the nervous system can happen like physical compression on a nerve, or things or more subtle as inflammation. Somebody that might not be eating the most clean diet, not really drinking any water, not really moving or exercising. So being more stationary, sedentary, you can create a lot of opportunity for that inflammation component. And that almost acts very similarly to direct compression on a nerve. So it can be anything from the classic neck pain, back pain that you hear about chiropractors, but it's also, again, maybe, what am I trying to say? Slow digestion. Maybe you get constipated easily, or you have trouble sleeping. For women, a lot of heavy menstrual cramping, difficult periods, numbness and tingling in the hands and fingers. Those are all signs that communication of that nerve to that region or those tissues is not complete, or it's even sending an incorrect message. So it's very important to make sure that that nervous system is at 100%. Absolutely.
That's so cool. That's so cool. Jay, do you have anything to add to that?
No, actually, when we first talked about discussing this topic, obviously being kind of the science and nerd that I am, I kind of poking around and looking into a little of this. And one of the areas I found kind of interesting was that depending on where you're doing adjustments can affect different parts of the nervous system, specifically the autonomic nervous system, which
Yes.
we've talked about a lot, sympathetic versus parasympathetic. So I don't know if maybe you want to talk a little bit about that, Dr. Katie?
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. So we have our autonomic nervous system entails, just like Jay said, sympathetic and parasympathetic. So your sympathetic nervous system is essentially fight or flight. Somebody's running after you with a hatchet to come and take your life, versus the parasympathetic nervous system, which is rest and digest. So nothing too exciting is happening. You're kicking back, you're relaxing, you have time to just digest, easy breezy. So if you can imagine your daily routine, you wake up, you run and you drink how many cups of coffee, you're going back and forth, oh shoot, you've got 5 minutes before you gotta go, you're driving in chaotic traffic, and then you go to work and there's probably a whole nother list of stressors. So we tend to have our lifestyle in this very sympathetic, go, 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 fight or flight. So one aspect of getting adjusted is stimulating more of that parasympathetic nervous system. There are specific nerves in your body, just like Jay mentioned, that supply rest and digest type of messages. There are some nerves that supply fight or flight messages. And then there are also nerves that do a little bit of both. So depending, like Jay said, where you adjust an individual or deliver an adjustment, you can stimulate either more of the fight or flight or more of that rest and digest. So I and other colleagues will often joke that we give attitude adjustments, because I've experienced it as a patient as well, you know, driving in and being all stressed out from just the travel alone, and then walking out of the chiropractic office like, oh, this feels so relaxed, because you've had that chance to, again, stimulate the rest and digest and just allow all of your tissues, even your mind, just to kind of settle and be at peace for a little bit. So definitely something to focus on. Absolutely. When it comes to.
Ooh.
Go ahead.
Is my microphone doing something really crazy? Is it better?
It's just quiet, but I can still hear you.
Okay.
Yep.
It made this weird noise on my end. So
Okay.
I like to add to that, even just the self-care alone of putting yourself on the schedule to take care of yourself, I feel like that really helps a lot too. And that's what I kind of really press forward to a lot of my patients, is taking that moment of self-care, taking that moment of whether it's doing yoga or making that appointment to the chiropractor or doing your exercise for the day, but just putting yourself on the calendar to self-care for yourself. I think it's just a beautiful thing. And I find, you know, before I was under the understanding of chiropractic of kind of just being, you know, you're in pain, you go to a chiropractor. But once I experienced it, it's not that at all. It should be a part of my normal tuning up. And I have to be honest that that I was really excited after leaving, just like you said, the attitude adjustment, that I felt like this needs to be a part of the wellness ritual in my life. This needs to be more than just, just more than just going if you're in pain. It should be something that's part of your tune-up, part of your self-care regimen. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely, absolutely. There is a wide array of patients, and it all depends on, I guess, personality and also what's going on. So I have some patients that love to come in once a week and get adjusted. They have a lot of aches and pains. They're very active individuals. They might want to come in once a week. There are other individuals that come in closer to once a month, or they'll give me a call as needed. So I always make specific recommendations to each patient, but in the end, it's up to them what's right for them. But you are absolutely right in the point that people do need to take that step to take care of themselves, because it's like exercising, or it's like going to the dentist to get your teeth cleaned. It is a fantastic idea, and I would also argue necessary, to come in and make sure that everything is functioning as it should. You might not feel aches and pains. It might not be anything glaring at you, but like we've talked about, just getting that adjustment, not even being in pain, you still feel like, oh my gosh, I feel all this weight lifted off of me, or I don't feel as foggy as I did earlier this morning.
My hamstring range of motion, even my range of motion in my joints is better. And I practice yoga daily, but I'm like, oh my gosh, I can touch my toes. This is amazing. So yeah, I couldn't agree more. Jay, you have anything to add to that? I keep cutting you off because I'm excited.
No, I'm just soaking it all in. It's an interesting topic. One thing I will say before we move on is that this just further reinforces what we're always talking about, that there's many, many, many tools in the toolbox. And I think it's incumbent upon all of us, if we truly want to be well, to look at everything and be open-minded, which is actually a good segue to the next question, because I think there's still some stigmas out there about chiropractic care, where people think it's dangerous, unsafe for children, bad for your bones, it's not based in science, and a lot of these things that to me actually sound pretty crazy. But Dr. Katie, have you heard any of these type of things? And can you maybe speak a little bit to some of these quote unquote myths of chiropractic care?
Yes, of course. I think it essentially stems from two beginnings. So either like myself, my introduction to chiropractic, I had no idea what chiropractic was, let alone what they did or that they worked with the nervous system. So there are people out there that just simply don't know what it is or that it exists. And then there's also quite a few people that I'll even see in the office, and they'll say, oh, I was hesitant to come back and get adjusted or see a chiropractor again because I went to a chiropractor 2 years ago and they just grabbed my neck and cracked it or adjusted it and didn't even warn me. Or they'll say, oh, I had a coworker who told me a story of such and such bad happening. So definitely this profession is very much based on word of mouth. So it's, if you're not familiar with chiropractic and all that it entails, it's easy to be swayed, I guess, from hearing from your loved ones and your coworkers. But it is stemmed and has a foundation in science. There's a ton of research on chiropractic. And that is why if you hear any type of commercial or ad, they'll talk about neck pain and back pain. Those are the two areas that have been studied the most with regard to chiropractic's efficacy and safety. So there was even a study done off the top of my head in 2007, and it was looking at a specific technique, upper cervical adjustment, but they were able to correlate adjustments with lowering blood pressure. So there's a lot of positives that come out of getting adjusted. And as far as safety, the biggest thing that I think can cause trouble is a lack of education. So again, for myself, I would never grab a patient's neck or even touch them without their consent and without their understanding of what I'm about to do. I explain everything that I'm going to do adjustment-wise, what's going to be happening, why I want to do it, and I make sure that they're comfortable with it before going forward. When we go to the schooling, we all learn the same baseline type of adjustment, and that is that cracking type of adjustment, which, by the way, the cracking is not any bone-on-bone rubbing, anything like that. It's actually taking your joint, which is a fluid-filled pocket, and bringing it to tension. So that noise is actually a release of gases. Just to answer that question that some people might have. But essentially, when we come out of schooling, we have this foundation type of adjusting. But as much as chiropractic is a science, it's also an art. So each chiropractor is going to specialize in various techniques that they are passionate about or that they think benefit the patients most. So while I do provide some hands-on cracking adjustments to those patients that are comfortable, I also use a drop table in my office, which doesn't involve any cracking whatsoever. So again, I have patients that come in and they want a very gentle approach. I might just use the drop table because that's what they're comfortable with. And I have other individuals that if I could, they wanted me to swing from a chandelier and drop down and crack every joint in their body, which again, that's not what I do, but there's a whole array of preferences. So there's something for everybody. But as far as safety, I think the biggest thing goes is just communicating with your doctor, with any health profession, making sure that you understand what they're doing and why. But chiropractic is very safe. It's very conservative. There's definitely a time and place when it comes to something like surgery or going under the knife, but I love chiropractic. I refer out to massage constantly. I consult with physical therapists, other people in the realm of exercise and health, because I want the individual as a whole to be at 100%. So it's all about communication and education.
And I think that's one good thing about what Jay and I are doing here with these wellness talks is building a network, because just like any other health profession, I feel like there's someone out there for everyone. And I tell people all the time, regardless of who you go to, you need to establish a relationship with that person. If you don't feel comfortable with that person, there's someone else. So you, not to just write off a certain, well, I've had massage before and that person, I didn't like her, so now I don't like any massage. Or I had a chiropractic appointment, I didn't like him. Just finding that person that you can develop that safe relationship with is so important when it comes to your own healing. Because if you go in feeling safe, I mean, that's the whole stimulation of the fight or flight. You need to go in feeling safe, feeling cared for, and feeling like I can openly discuss anything I need to with you about my health and wellness, and then it'll be handled professionally and individual based. So these networks are really nice to be able to meet the doctors and understand the doctors. And I know for me, in either massage or the physical therapy realm that I work in, I refer out all the time because not all of us have all the answers. It takes a team to work together. And, as far as the forever, going to Jay, I would refer to Jay in an instant once you're out of PT and you're ready for that really great fitness regimen and, the great staff. I've been there. I work out of the building. I send my kid there for camp, even though it's in another district, because I trust their team. Just as, I trust my team and I trust my physical therapist, and it's all really just a basis of having respect and trust for each other, I feel. So let's turn, go ahead, Jay, I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to do what you were saying and kind of refer back to something Katie said a few minutes ago about there's the art of what we do, whether it's chiropractic care, physical therapy, massage. I think what it comes down to is there's this information, all the hands-on stuff that's grounded in science, which is great, but then how do we apply it in such a way where we can actually motivate people, we can actually treat people successfully? And a lot of it just comes down to being able to relate to them, building relationships, being good listeners, not talking as much, which is one reason why I like doing these talks, because I can focus on listening more than actually talking. But I think having a network, we all have our own scope of practice, in knowing when to be able to refer out, and then having people within that network that we trust to refer out to is an absolute game changer when it comes to working with all of our individual clients and members. I think it's a great thing.
It is. I couldn't agree with you more. It's awesome to, it's one thing to go by hearsay, And to refer out, it's a whole other thing to now I know Katie, I know her philosophy, I've seen her face. I feel like we've developed even just a 45-minute relationship. I already, you can see how much passion she has for what she does. And now I would have absolutely no doubt in my mind that she'll be one that I refer to. So it's just really important for all of us business professionals to just work together and it takes a village. It takes a village to support our patients and our clients. And, we really want to make sure that we're all giving the utmost care. And, it's costly. We understand. And Jay and I have talked about this before. It can be costly, but the small price you pay today is so much better than the large price of A, your health, or B, financially, that you're going to be stuck with later if you don't start now taking care of yourself. I tell people all the time, you can go all that you want and not take care of yourself. It's not if, it's when you're going to hit that brick wall. So you really have to take these steps and these complementary therapies that really work with the body instead of against the body. I would go to Katie every day for the rest of this year to avoid surgery, just because I want to work with the body. I want to work, of course, surgery. I work in physical therapy. Surgery is important in a lot of instances, but I'm going to do everything in my power. My back was hurting so bad. I told my husband, I said, I can't even believe I'm saying this, that I would go to surgery tomorrow to be able to feel better. Like I couldn't even do the chair yoga that I do on Fridays. And Jay, at Webster Rec, it was hurting so bad. And so in 2 to 3 weeks to be pain-free from, and, I was doing the physical therapy exercises. I was doing the massage therapy. I was doing the acupuncture. I was feeling better, but I needed that component that I was missing. So I feel like what I was doing was great and there was a nice team, but I was missing that puzzle piece. And this is why the complementary therapies of us all working together is just a beautiful thing. So now we get to talk about Dr. Katie. So now we want to know, so I don't know if you're like Jay and I were, like he said, we're a bunch of nerds. We have all of these people we follow. We have all of these books we read. We have these inspirations. Who is your inspiration? Who do you follow? Who is your podcast or your books? What is it that Dr. Katie does in her fun time to educate herself?
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, thank you for those kind words. And as far as reading, I love reading. I did not enjoy it in high school and even in college, but in the past 5 years or so, I'm a bookworm now when it comes to just enjoying my stories. But when it comes to books related to my profession or to health, I'm a big fan of The China Study by T. Colin Campbell that changed my entire lifestyle as far as my approach to nutrition. I'm definitely not perfect. I still have a lot of junk food in my life. So that's where maybe I would consult another health professional for me personally. But I love that story. And I'm another fan of Chris Wark. He wrote a book called Chris Beat Cancer. And that is a phenomenal resource for anybody who's looking for alternatives to, I guess, Western approach to cancer. So,
can you give me that name one more time, Katie?
Yes, his name is Chris Wark, W-A-R-K. And he has a website, it's called chrisbeatcancer.com. And he has a fantastic story, but he was able to change his life drastically, mainly through nutrition, incorporating many other things. But that's a phenomenal read. Again, just for people to understand the power that they have over their own health and over their own bodies. In the end, when people are informed of all the options, they can make whatever decision they want with regard to a flu shot, to surgery, or to taking a medication as opposed to taking a supplement. But as long as people do their research, then they can make an informed decision. So I think he's a fantastic resource for, I get excited, a nutritional approach to something like cancer. And then as far as just for pure pleasure, I love Andy Weir. He is the author of The Martian and another book, Artemis. They're both outer space or moon planet type of books. They're very entertaining, very comical, as much as it is science-based. And then when I feel like I need my soul to be fueled up and fed, I will turn to Donald Miller. He is in the realm of memoir or self-growth, personal growth type of genre, but he also makes me laugh, very lighthearted, very easy to read if you're not a reader. So those are my favorites, absolutely. Love reading all of them.
I don't know, Jay, she did that pretty well. I feel like I don't even know if I could have done it that smoothly.
Yeah.
Listen. And it gives us more topics and more books we could fill our Amazon cart with too. Thank you.
Yeah, there you go.
Dr. Katie, you'll have to join Jay and I's like mini book club. We're constantly sharing titles and having long discussions on our books that we're reading. By the way, Essentialism, put it on your list.
Okay.
Essentialism. So
Okay.
good. So good. I just finished that one up.
I was actually able to get through 4 or 5 books during my quarantine, including some of the ones that Dr. Matt gave us. I finally got around to The Go-Giver, which I thought was an awesome story.
Wasn't that a great book?
Yeah, Obstacle is the Way. I started Dirty Jeans, and then I also picked up this really cool book by a strength coach that I've been following probably for the last 15, 20 years on a whole systems approach to fascia training, which is a kind of a big area of interest in study for me too. So there's always something good to read, and I'm always adding stuff to the Amazon shopping cart.
Yeah.
I will.
All right.
There's a
So
lot out
Jay,
there.
Oh yeah. All right. So I think we've pretty much covered everything. The last thing we'd like to do though is let our listeners know how they can find you, social media wise, website wise. How can everybody get a hold of you?
Oh, that's a great question. I am located on Empire Boulevard. It is 1630 Empire Boulevard. It's right next to Hillhaven Nursing Home, a big square brick building. Everybody's familiar with it. And I didn't know that even going into selecting that space. So it worked out well. I am on Facebook. I am also on Instagram. I think you can find me on Facebook by typing the @ symbol and then my business name abbreviated, KADCCC. And lastly, I think you can give a call to the office. My phone number is 585-787-9436. And what else? I have a website that's probably relevant to share. So that web page is www and then my name again. So KADCCC.com. So there are 3 C's. But there's a lot of information on there as far as what my office looks like, more about me, and how I practice. And there are also ways to connect with me through the webpage as well.
that's awesome. And we'll have this workout. We will have it'll all be written out. So if you didn't catch any of that, just hold tight for the next couple of minutes, and we will have it all written out for you that you can access it. Katie, it was so nice to finally meet you. I've been so excited about this topic. It wasn't on purpose that I tried chiropractic for the first time in the process of waiting to have this discussion, but it did happen. And I can't express, I've been referring out to it a lot, but now I can say firsthand that you all do amazing work. And then when you said the topic that we were going to talk about today, I, like Jay, dove in a little deeper, and I just think everybody needs it. I really truly do believe it should be a part of everyone's fitness and health and regimen. So thank you so much for joining us and taking the time out of your day to join us. Thank you all so much. Nothing news going on with Wellness 360. Our gyms just shut down again. So Wellness 360, we do group fitness classes for disease management. All of our classes are written and designed by physical therapists. So it's for long-term disease management, reversal, and prevention. And so we're doing everything via Zoom and our online fitness program. So if you all have anyone with Parkinson's, osteoporosis, joint health problems, any kind of diagnosable diseases that they need a safe and effective online exercise program, you know where to find me. And Jay, anything new with the Webster Rec Center? How's the whole COVID thing standing?
So far, so good. We're really weathering the storm. It's been actually gratifying to see that from a fitness center's perspective, it's been slowly but surely getting busier. People feel comfortable being here. I get comments all the time on how safe people feel, you know, all the, you know, procedures we're following to keep the place sanitized and clean. So that's definitely gratifying. And we also have our Santa mailbox here too. We just got it. Santa dropped it off. I think it was last week actually. So any of the young kids out there, or even the adults actually, want to drop off a letter, it will go straight to the North Pole if you drop it off here in our mailbox in our lobby. So I thought I'd give a little props to that. Other than that, we're just keeping things going. Hopefully our new program guide will be going out in the next few days, and that'll be for starting in January. All of our programs, it'll go pretty much through the first quarter of next year. So keep a lookout for that. You can always check our website, the town of Webster, all the great programs. And we look forward to, as we get through into 2021, being able to get back to some of the stuff that we were doing before. Dr. Katie, I really hope that we can start doing some of those in-person lunch and learns with our employee wellness program here at the town. So we're just looking forward to the holidays and hopefully seeing things get better as we move into the new year.
Awesome.
Yeah, sounds great.
Well,
I just wanted to say thank you to both of you for having me. I had a blast. It's a lot of fun. And also congratulations to you on getting adjusted. It's fantastic. It's something that I think everybody should incorporate into their life again. But like you mentioned, you have to find the right person for you. So at least give it a try and see how much better you feel, and add it to, yeah, your network and all that keeps you safe and well.
Awesome. Thank you again so much for joining us. And you all have a wonderful rest of your Friday. And you'll be seeing Jay and I again for your Talking Wellness. We'll talk to you all soon.